All of my sewing projects start with a vision, with a dream, some images in my head that I think about in my head and see how I can make them come to life. And as people who sew, we are so capable of doing that. Behind me is a beautiful dress I'm going to share with you today that I made using the Melody Dolman from Love Notions. Top stitching galore, extra pattern pieces, and one of my dreams have come true, so keep watching. Hi sewing friends, my name's Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel all about sewing, limitless sewing. If you're always stopping by and enjoying the sewing content here, welcome back. And if you're new and you just stumbled upon this channel, here you will find a lot of practical sewing, lots of sewing tips. So if you think that's a cool idea, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, tap on the bell so you don't miss out when I upload new videos. Today I wanted to chat about one of my favorite patterns, one of the ones that even made it into my tops and flops video of 2019, where I chose the top 7 patterns I sewed during the year, and that is the Melody Dolman from Love Notions. I was a pattern tester for this pattern last year around June maybe, and really enjoyed sewing it, wearing it, and taking this as a base because I really think that the style of this pattern can be really classic, really timeless, can just walk all over the trends, and you can wear a type of garment like this for ages. And due to the simple nature of the design, it's also a perfect base for all the creative endeavors that I like to get up to in my sewing. I'm mentioning the Melody Dolman because today it's a Feature Friday pattern from Love Notions. And today I actually wrote the guest blog post for the Love Notions website. My garment is featured in there, so it's been my little secret project for a long time and I'm really excited to share all about it. And that's why I want to give you an overview of my other versions and what my inspiration was to come up with this garment. This little stripy coral with white and navy is the one I made first last year. This was like my test muslin that came out super wearable. The only issue that I had with this one was that I didn't do length adjustments to the shirt. I looked at the pieces and I thought, yeah, they should be fine. But actually, because this style is meant to be worn knotted as an option, I wasn't able to wear it knotted unless I wanted to have a really cropped shirt. So totally wearable as a normal top. I was able to get a picture while I was shopping last year, so that was really fun. Sewing this first one just cemented how much I love sewing these types of collars, the camp style collars with the integrated facing, the little cuffs. I was able to play with leftover linen I had and put stripes the other way. And you know, even though this was a muslin, I thoroughly enjoyed it and I was so happy I could get a really wearable garment. I made the final garment for the test. I made the length adjustment, love that top, and I played with stripes. I didn't get to wear this one that much, although it was perfect for me, the length. I could actually wear it tied up. As you can see, I did manage to wear it once or twice out fabric shopping because I can never miss a chance to pop into the shops when I go to town. And when mum and dad came to visit last year, mum had a good look at it, liked it, and borrowed it, aka kept it. So I'm just sharing with you some family shots here of them having lunch in a restaurant. Mum enjoying the huge papayas that we saw in the supermarket. They don't sell that fruit in Chile and she loves it. She remembers eating it when she used to live here 20 years ago. It's a great style for her. I think the style can suit a woman of any age. Really classic style, and she will also rock it tied up. As you can see in the video I'm inserting here, it's a really great style for her and I'm glad that she has it. I really went crazy and had an idea brewing in my mind from an image I saw on Pinterest where there was an asymmetrical dress, and I set about one night to cut up all these pattern pieces, and you can see them on the floor. The cutting phase and the thinking out of this was really interesting and really enjoyable for me. I really enjoy projects that challenge me this way. This one is made in a really floppy fabric and I made the cuffs in a contrast crepe, and I actually had to tack this down, do some hand stitching there to hold it in place because it just wants to flop down, you know. So this dress was amazing to make, you know, all the stripes drive you a bit crazy, but I've worn it and I've had so many compliments about it. And I know asymmetry isn't for everyone, but it is for me, and I really enjoyed making that. The yoke at the back, it's just got so many things that I like totally me all over it, using a fantastic base pattern that fits really well. And I do have a full video about all these makes. If you want to check them out, I will link them up above and down below in the description box, all about the Melody Dolmans that I have already made. And it's because I was able to choose one of the patterns to feature as the Feature Friday pattern for Love Notions. I chose this one. You know, it's no doubt I love woven patterns. I love this style. I loved making it before. I had an idea in my head, a vision that I wanted to make come real, of course, and so that is the pattern that I've chosen. And this decision was made months ago, so my name has been on the schedule for the blog post for a long time, and I can finally show you what I've come up with. I'll be inserting some images here that were my inspiration. I'm usually looking at images and storing them on my Pinterest boards, and I don't have a dress like this. I haven't had one ever. I always look at them in the shops and think, you know, I could make that myself. And it's just your classic shirt dress made out of denim. And it doesn't really necessarily have to be denim, but, you know, it could be chambray or Tencel twill or that sort of bluish look with tan top stitching. It's a classic style, you know, something that I'm gonna wear for ages. And that if you had a garment like this, you could wear for ages. It's just above all the trends. You could just keep wearing it and be really stylish and classic. I've chosen a Tencel twill that I had in my stash. I had about 2 meters of fabric and was really hoping I was going to have enough to make this dress. And there was an extra idea I'll mention at the end of the video that I wasn't able to materialize with this dress, but I will materialize with a following dress. I'll just make sure I get like 2.5 meters of fabric, you know. So here it is. This is my fabric. It's a Tencel twill. It's beautiful. Not the easiest fabrics to work with, you know, like if you compare, I think linen, chambray or lightweight denim would be easier to work with, but I really wanted it from this fabric, so I did go ahead and do a lot of hand basting and those sort of things. This was a detail I wanted to add. This is a sleeve tab that is functional. It is pretty and also will hold the cuff in place. And it has been sewn on the back there, and it comes over and with a buttonhole, you know, it'll keep the cuff there and look really nice. So I set out to draft little tiny pattern pieces that will go as extras onto this dress. And, you know, they do look like rectangles, but a lot of thought went into actually figuring out how big to make them and adding seam allowance and everything. So this little extra bit, everything is explained with a lot of detail, lots of photos in the blog post I wrote for Love Notions. So you can check out that, how I did that, how I top stitch it, and how it's sewn onto the back there to create that look. I did do a narrow row of top stitching there on the shoulder seam and 1 row of top stitching there on the collar. That is really pretty. No top stitching there. And then the other feature that I've added on to this pattern is the bust pocket flap. The pattern does have 1 bust pocket in the original design, as you can see in the line art here. And there is a pattern piece for it, so I just used that same pattern piece. And considering the finished size of this bust pocket and everything, I went out and drafted a little flap that would extend the bust pocket by about 1/8 of an inch. So the flap will be slightly wider than the finished bust pocket there, but only slightly. And this one is also functional. The buttonhole does actually work, and you can lift that and put things in there, although I would never do that, you know. So I put a lot of thought into the instructions of how to have a really nice seamless result with this little flap piece there, and I think it's really cute. I did think that this style of dress needed 2 pockets, and so there are 2 there. The placement of the pockets is always your personal preference, so you will see that in patterns there is a reference or sometimes a guide where they suggest that you might like them there, but at the end of the day it depends on how you like them on yourself. And that's what I did. I tried the dress and then I just play with the pockets until I'm happy with that position, and you know, and then I sew them on. Try to find your own nice placements, you know. There are 11 buttonholes on the front there, and I've chosen those metal buttons there. Now, buttonholes, I did use regular thicker top stitching thread for everything, you know, on the top, not in the bobbin. But I found out through trial and error that making buttonholes with top stitching thread is just a road to disaster. You'll get like knots, and at least for me they don't work. So I make buttonholes with regular thread in the matching color of the top stitching thread. So I hope to have matched the color there of the buttonholes to that color there that I've used for top stitching. Now these patch pockets are also extra. They are not part of the dress. Actually, there is no dress in this pattern. It's a shirt, right? It's a shirt that you can wear normally or tied up, but I have lengthened it, and I have lengthened it before with my stripy asymmetric one. So I sort of knew how much to lengthen it, and in the blog post I do go over how I lengthened it. Very easy to do, you know, so I'm not mentioning that here. Also, these patch pockets were sort of drafted by trial and error, myself cutting out a rectangle and seeing what size was going to work in proportion to the dress. And I have all those measurements in really nice diagrams on the blog post. So easy for you to cut out and do. All the instructions as well, how to finish the top and the sides is all there. And they are really cute. Now this fabric is super drapey and it makes the pockets look a bit slouchy, and I like that. I like that. I wanted that look. You know, I didn't want stiff pockets. If you use fabric that's less drapey, you're not gonna have this slouchy look on the pockets, but I actually do like this. And at the back, there is absolutely nothing special. There's no seam there. It's all just one piece and it goes all the way down. I didn't put any darts, and I did a small hem. On the inside, the seams have been pressed open because I like doing that. And it's just a beautiful dress, one that I've wanted to have for ages. Why hadn't I made it? Just, I don't know, but it was the time. You know, the blog post was the perfect opportunity to make this dream come true for me. So these facings are integrated into the front piece there. They are interfaced and serged. They go all the way down. It's a very simple style. You can see some stitching from my pockets, and I just use navy thread on the bobbin, so that's the color that you see there. Same as here on these. And it's just a really, really nice dress. I absolutely love making it, and it was different for me not to be filming it. I felt very strange making it and taking pictures along the way, but it's another way that you can communicate about sewing. That is my gorgeous dress. I'm so happy with it, and let's see how it looks on now. This is how my dress looks. It's a little bit shorter because I have a belt on, but I think I would always wear this with a belt to give it more shaping. You know, it is just a shirt that was extended, so I didn't put darts or anything to shape at the waist. So I love the combination of the buttons with this type of belt, and the tan with this type of blue. I think is a classic pairing. I've always wanted to have an outfit like that, and these color shoes go, you know, really well with the blue and the belt and the buttons. So I'm really liking this. It's a view from the side. Now up closer, you can see where this dress is hitting me a little bit above the knee, and that is fine. I didn't put buttons all the way down. You can see the patch pockets. They're not bulky, and I think they add some interest to the dress. And being a solid, you can add details like these in top stitch, and I think they will really stand out. I don't think I would add these details to a print because then no one's gonna see them. I did leave a slight curve at the hem, just very, very slight. You know, a shirt is gonna have a real big difference here on the side, and I didn't want it to be excessively short on the side. You can see how lovely Tencel drapes. I think it's just beautiful, you know. I have 15 buttons here, so there's 11 here on the front. The spacing between each of the buttonholes is 2 inches. They're vertical buttonholes. You can see that there. And then there's 2 on each pocket here and 2 on each tab. So up here are all the details I work the hardest at. Fabric is pretty difficult to manipulate, so I did a lot of hand basting, and I chose a tan colored thread to do the top stitching. So you can see I've top stitched the edge of the collar right there, just the edge. I didn't top stitch this area here. And here on the cuff, you can see I top stitched the edge right there. So when you flip the cuff around, you just have navy thread under there. The little tab was really fun to do. And it's not only pretty, it's functional because it keeps the cuff folded. And there you can see I've done some top stitching on the shoulder seam. just discreet top stitching. I do think these pockets are small enough and discreet enough to not add volume to the bust. I don't really add pockets that have pleats or other details on the bust. I do think these pockets needed to be here for this style of dress, for this look, and for them to be on both sides. The flap is functional, like I did open the buttonhole, you know, so I could put things in there, although I never would. It is a pretty functional pocket. So there you have it, with some shaping, with this belt. I really like this color combo. I really enjoyed making it, although it was a little bit lengthy in the process because of all the little details. Super happy I made it because I've been looking at dresses like this in shops, not wanting to buy any because I wanted to make my own. You know, this is a timeless design, a timeless style that will not go out of trend. You know, you can wear this for years to come. And being denim type looking, you know, it's just really versatile. And I love the look. I love how this turned out. So like I can't tolerate the glasses anymore because they are just getting really foggy and I can't see a thing. So I've taken them off and hope that I'm in focus there. Now I have other ideas for this pattern as usual. You know, I like to sew a pattern multiple times, and especially if I'm making changes to the pattern. So, you know, I'm not done with this. And there was one idea I wanted to apply to this dress. I really wanted to, and I really tried to get the pattern piece out of the fabric. It was just impossible. So that's why I ended up wearing a belt, which is fine. I'm fine with the belt. I always wanted to have that tan blue combination with shoes and the buttons. I have some pictures here to show you what I was really wanting to do, and that was to draft a sort of like a large casing, not that large, but wider than your typical tiny casing, and sew it onto the outside of the dress, leaving an opening on the front on each of the sides. So it would be at my waist, the casing coming here and finishing around there, so away from the buttons. And then I would make a self belt to thread through that and have like a tie at the front. You can see some images here of inspiration, and I really want to do that. Like I really want to do that because then I wouldn't need a belt. And I have a fabric here that I actually have like 2.5 meters of, and it's the same fabric I've used for this Harmony blouse hack that I've shown last Friday, also from Love Notions. Same fabric. It's a viscose linen blend, more viscose than linen, and it gives it this really amazing drape, and it's green. I got this fabric for my birthday a few weeks ago, and I have a picture here to show you some inspiration in a green style dress. I would also do the top stitching in that tan type color thread, and I just have that idea and vision in my head, and I just can't wait to make it. And this time I do have enough fabric to do that casing with self belt and everything. I'm really excited about that one. I have 2 more of the same fabric because, you know, it's really hard to sew solids. And I think when you're adding tiny pieces like this extra to a simple style, you need to highlight them by making them in a solid. And I think the top stitching does help to bring them, and so you can see them actually when you're wearing them. And I have this navy, same viscose linen blend, and this sort of like brick colored. I'm not sure what you call this color. You know, in my language, you would call this terracotta. It's just like the mud that you see here in Brazil. It's actually the same color. Really beautiful. And I only have a small piece here, but it would be enough to make a shirt. And I know where to get more. They had a lot when I went and got this one, so I could definitely get more. And there is a dress you can see there that is this sort of color with the casing and the belt, and it's a shirt dress style. I would just have to make the skirt piece a little bit more flared, but I love that. I love that, and I would love to have a garment just like that actually. And then I have 2 more fabrics to show you just as inspiration, just to give you an idea. And this is a linen cotton blend, beautiful blue, and just beautiful actually. I would love to make a Melody shirt out of this one. Not a dress, you know, I just made a blue dress, but I would love to make a shirt also with little things and you know, I'll probably do a top stitching another color like gray. I think would look really pretty as well. But yeah, lovely. And I would make a Melody Dolman dress, but without the pockets and the things and everything. I'll just lengthen it and maybe do the casing, that's all. And that is because this linen is a print. Look at this. It's gorgeous. It's black and then it's got that sort of print there. And you know, these are really dangerous for your apex, so you would have to be really careful to place the pattern pieces where the apex is going to land on some black area or smaller flower area. But I really like this when I saw it, and have an image of my head of the Melody Dolman dress, but more simple in this fabric. But you know, they're just ideas I have in my head. My head is full of ideas. I don't know how I keep up with them all. I just love sewing too much, and I think sewing gives us so many opportunities to make exactly what we want in the fabrics that we love, like this one. So I'm excited about those. I'd love to know if you're a fan of shirt dresses. You know, throughout the channel you've seen me make a lot of them. I do love them. I love making buttonholes. It's not a thing that I'm like annoyed about now that I have a good sewing machine. I used to be in the past, and I would make shirt dresses anyway and just sew the buttons on. Like, I wouldn't make buttonholes, and that is a little trick you can do, and just put it on yourself and you have all the buttons down the front and it looks like you've got buttonholes, but you don't. But I actually do enjoy them now. I think it's a really classic style, and you can just have a lot of fun with shirt dresses, with fabrics, and especially with solids. I think a shirt dress goes really well in a solid due to all the details and things. So it's a style that I love. Please head over to the blog post and read it. I've started my own website as well, and I write blog posts as well, so I'm getting used to the other format, trying to make the post as visually attractive as possible with lots of colors, lots of images. So please head over there in the description box below, and my affiliate link is within that post. You can purchase the Melody Dolman if you haven't got it and you like it through there, and I make a small commission. I will also leave the affiliate link in the description box of this video as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon, tomorrow actually, with another video. Bye!